David was a travel writer who loved exploring new places around the world. During a trip to the Philippines, he decided to visit a small village in the Visayan Islands to gather material for his travel blog. The village was peaceful, the people were friendly, and the scenery was incredibly beautiful. One day, while sitting near the riverbank, David saw a woman wearing a traditional hat while collecting water. Her unusual beauty caught his attention, and he secretly took out his camera to take a photo for his blog. But the moment the picture was taken, the woman seemed to notice him, quickly covered her face, and ran away, leaving David with a strange and uneasy feeling. That night, after returning to the small hotel in the village, David quickly fell asleep because he was exhausted. In the middle of the night, he suddenly felt as if someone was standing very close to his bed. When he opened his eyes, he was horrified to see a woman sitting beside him, her face hidden under the same traditional hat he had seen by the river. He jumped up and asked who she was, but the woman did not answer. She sat silently, then slowly turned her head and smiled in a terrifying way. Her lips were black, and her long, sharp teeth made David panic. Suddenly, large wings grew from her back, her body split in half, and she flew straight out the window, leaving David trembling in extreme fear. After the horrifying incident, David immediately called the hotel staff for help. When he told them everything, they were not surprised at all, and said that the creature he saw was Manananggal, a terrifying legend in the Philippines. They explained that it was a witch-like creature that could split its body into two parts, with the upper half growing wings to fly at night and hunt for victims. Manananggal feeds on human blood, especially targeting pregnant women and children. To protect himself, the hotel staff gave David salt, garlic, and ashes, because people believed these things could burn the monster and weaken it. Although still frightened, David decided to learn more about the mysterious creature from the villagers. The next day, David began asking the villagers about Manananggal, and soon learned that many people had been killed mysteriously in recent weeks. The villagers believed the killer was a girl named Mia, who lived at the edge of the village. They thought she was the Manananggal and had driven her away, but no one was brave enough to face her. Wanting to know the truth, David decided to meet Mia himself. When the door opened, he was shocked to realize that she was the same woman he had seen by the river. Mia looked very sad and told him that her fiancé had been killed by Manananggal on their wedding day. And now she was pregnant and blamed by the whole village. After hearing her story, David believed she was innocent and began to feel sympathy for her. After that meeting, David and Mia slowly became closer as he visited her often and spent time talking with her. The more time he spent with her, the more he realized that she was nothing like what the villagers said. She was kind, gentle, and always living in fear that Manananggal would come back. David felt more and more protective of her, especially after learning that she was carrying the child of her dead fiancé. Their feelings grew stronger, and David decided he would take Mia away from the cursed village and start a new life with her in Canada. They planned to leave the next night, hoping to escape the shadow of Manananggal, not knowing that the monster was still very close. The next night, while walking to Mia's house to leave the village together, David suddenly saw something flying up from the forest and disappearing into the dark sky. Feeling that something was wrong, he slowly walked toward a small path to check. Suddenly, his foot hit something on the ground. When he looked down, he froze in terror. It was the lower half of a woman's body, cut apart and still twitching. He immediately realized that Manananggal was nearby. In panic, he checked his pockets, but remembered that he had forgotten the salt, garlic, and ashes at the hotel. At that moment, he heard Mia screaming in fear, and he ran toward her house as fast as he could. When he rushed inside, the sight in front of him left him speechless. Manananggal was holding Mia tightly, sinking its long teeth into her neck and drinking her blood. Its sharp claws were digging deep into her stomach. Before David could do anything, the creature tore her body apart and flew away into the night, leaving him in unbearable horror. After that terrible night, Mia's death filled the entire village with fear and regret. The villagers finally realized they had been wrong to blame her, because the real Manananggal was still alive and had been the one killing people all along. David was completely broken after watching everything happen without being able to save the woman he loved. The image of the winged creature, its split body covered in blood, and Mia's final scream kept haunting him. After helping the villagers with Mia's funeral, David left the Philippines and returned to Canada. Even after going back to his normal life, he could never forget that journey. For David, Manananggal was no longer a legend, but a real horror he would carry for the rest of his life. After returning to Canada, David tried to continue his travel writing, but inside he had changed. He once believed that stories about demons and monsters were only myths, but what he saw in the Philippines made him realize that some horrors cannot be explained. Every night, the image of the winged creature and Mia's desperate scream returned to his mind, keeping him awake. He never went back to that village again, and he never wrote the full story in his blog, because he knew no one would believe it. But for him, it was a real nightmare that would follow him forever. Months passed, yet David still felt different from before. He kept traveling, writing new stories, but the excitement was gone. Whenever he visited a new place, he felt as if something dark might be hiding there. Sometimes in his dreams, he saw the forest again, the half-body on the ground, and heard Mia's scream in the night. He understood that some experiences are too terrifying to be written as travel stories, and deep inside, he knew the legend of Manananggal was not just a tale, but a real fear in this world. Years later, David still could not forget what he had witnessed in that small village in the Philippines. He tried to live normally, but the fear never left him. He once thought urban legends were only imagination, but after seeing Manananggal with his own eyes, everything changed. On quiet nights, he could still see the monster's huge wings, its split body, and its cold eyes staring at him in the darkness. Mia's last scream echoed in his mind, waking him from sleep. He never returned to the village, and he rarely told anyone the truth, because very few people could believe such a story. Since that journey, David understood that the world still hides things beyond human understanding, and sometimes it is better not to search too deeply. Because some truths, once seen, stay with you for the rest of your life.